It has been over 72 hours since Russian forces marched into Ukraine, and as per the latest reports, they are just 30 kilometers from the heart of Ukraine in Kyiv. The Ukrainian capital city has been witnessing a mounting offensive with shelling and airstrikes hitting several buildings. The Russian military says it has used long-range, high-precision weapons. Russia has also targeted Kyiv with sea and air-launched cruise missiles. However, Moscow has reiterated that it is not targeting Ukrainian cities, but only military centers. While Russian military trucks and tanks are rolling over Ukrainians' roads and are closing in on Kyiv, Russia's communication regulator has warned local media of a Ukraine war coverage and ordered media to take down reports describing Moscow's military action in Ukraine as an assault, invasion, or declaration of war. Earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin called on the Ukrainian army to overthrow the country's leadership, which he termed a gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis. He urged the Ukrainian military to overpower them.
Once again, I appeal to the servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine. Do not let neo-Nazis and banderovцы use your children, wives and the elderly as human shields. Take power in your own hands. It seems that it will be easier for us to agree than with this gang of drug addicts and neo-Nazis who settled in Kyiv and took the entire Ukrainian people hostage.
While the West considers sanctions to be a tough measure to block Russia, experts say the action is not enough to deter Moscow. Russia will now respond to West's sanction on Russian banks and individuals. Moscow says it will seize funds of foreigners and foreign companies in Russia. Russia's Security Council said that Moscow has not ruled out nationalizing the assets of companies registered in the US and European Union. Russian Foreign Ministry has said that relations between Russia and the West are approaching the point of no return. Russia's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova say that sanctions against Putin and Lavrov reflect the West's absolute impotence when it comes to foreign policy. But as Russia continues its military actions in Ukraine, global affairs experts are warning against Moscow's move, saying that Putin had wrecked his legacy with such acts.
He's wrecked his legacy. He could have had the legacy of a man who had brought up Russia from its knees and made it into a considerable power without doing what he has done now. But the reality is that Russia is now going to burn through its reserves that it's built up, partly due to the high price of oil, partly due to genuine macroeconomic prudence. And Russia doesn't have a bottomless piggy bank. And the longer this war in Ukraine continues, and it looks like it will continue this is a marathon, if you like, not a sprint, then the reality is that he will find it difficult. The body bags will come home, the money will be depleted, and he cannot sustain it for long. So it is actually it's in Russia's interest to have a short, quick war, and it's not going to get one.
Russian troops continued pressing their attack on the Ukrainian capital and other major cities, trying to advance on the Kyiv from several directions. The Russian invasion of Ukraine began on Thursday with massive air and missile strikes and ground troops moving in from the north, east and south. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.